It was February 1937, a time when America was clawing its way out of the Great Depression, a world of dirt roads, patched dresses, and quiet desperation. In the quiet hills of Tennessee, a story would break that shocked the nation. A story so unbelievable it made the front page headlines from New York to Los Angeles. A story that blurred the lines between love and law, childhood and womanhood. A 9-year-old girl, a 22-year-old man, and a marriage that would test the limits of law, morality, and public outrage. They called it young love, but the world saw something else, a tragedy dressed as tradition. This is the story of Charlie Johns and Eunice Winstead.
Whispers rise in the dead of night, secrets buried in the fading light. The truth's a storm, it will not stay. It crashes through like Judgment Day. Chains will break where shadows lie. The southern wind, it's a battle cry. Sisters of the South, hear the call. We rise together, we stand tall. SOS, the truth will ignite. Justice burns, a beacon of light.
Hey guys, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are
Sisters
Sisters
of
of
the
the
South.
South. We share real cases and stories about real people and their families who still deserve answers. We focus on missing persons, solved and unsolved cases, because here at Sisters of the South, we believe that every person matters. We're here to listen, share, and keep these names from being forgotten. Thank you for joining us today. Now let's get started.
The 1930s were hard years for America. Hancock County, Tennessee was one of the poorest regions in the South. Families worked hard just to survive. Life revolved around the church, the land, and the family. Education often ended early, and children were seen as adults the moment they could help on the farm. But even by the standards of time, what happened in 1937 crossed every imaginable line. Girls were expected to marry young, but not this young.
Yeah.
Eunice Winstead was only 9, still a child by any measure, and described as quiet, polite, barely 5 feet tall, and still playing with dolls.
I mean, she's a child.
She's a baby. I have a 9-year-old. She's a
Yeah.
baby.
I mean, that's insane to me.
It makes me sick.
Absolutely.
Charlie Johns was a 22-year-old man, a farm laborer, broad-shouldered, quiet-spoken, and 13 years older. The two met in passing. Sure.
Passing where? I mean, church, the local general
From daycare.
store. I mean,
No courtship, no long romance. Just a strange understanding.
and when you say 9-year-old girl and then say romance, those two words should not even be in
They
the
should
same
never
sentence.
be in the same world.
Oh my gosh, no.
On a cold February morning in February 1937, Charlie and Eunice slipped away. Did he offer candy? You just have to wonder how this even happened.
Or did he kidnap her?
Did he kidnap her?
Right.
Or, back then you didn't know
Yeah.
about stranger danger. So was he
No.
just a nice man in town? And you're like, okay, sure.
He had to have lured her.
Somehow, some way.
Right.
But she wore her Sunday dress, a plain cotton frock. He had a ring. They went to a local preacher. Charlie paid the preacher $1, which is equivalent to $22.50 today, which is still not a lot,
No.
to perform the marriage while Eunice told them she was going out to get her doll.
Oh my goodness.
Her doll.
That was probably her form of
Comfort, right?
Comfort, yeah.
that's her best friend,
Yeah.
really. And with the consent of her parents, yes, her parents' consent, they were married. There was no law to stop it, not in 1937. Not in 1937 Tennessee.
Yeah, that is insane to me.
When the word spread, America was horrified, which they had every right to be.
Absolutely.
Newspapers describe Eunice as barely tall enough to reach the kitchen sink. Reporters swarmed Sneedville trying to understand how a 9-year-old could legally become a wife.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a legitimate outrage and a legitimate question.
She's a baby.
And who is this preacher that married them?
Well,
like, that's a disgrace.
What's in it for her parents? Is he paying her parents? Is she, you know what I mean? Like, why would your parents be okay with this?
Well, maybe they thought he'd be a good farmhand for them, but still, it does not even matter.
Not your baby. You don't want him
No.
touching your... Ugh.
I know.
It makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Journalists flooded into the hills of Sneedville. They expected a scandal, but what they found was anything but. Eunice smiled for photographs. She told reporters she was happy. Charlie stood beside her, proud, calm, and defiant. Ugh.
He felt justified for whatever reason.
And that's exactly how it happened. To the public, it was unthinkable, but in rural Tennessee, where poverty and isolation blurred the rules, people saw it differently. They said, if her parents agreed, then it's not our business. Somebody needs to be there for that baby.
Somebody needs to put an investigation into her parents at that point, but we're talking about
1937 in Tennessee. Yeah.
Back in the 30s.
It was a clash between old mountain ways and modern America.
Before we finish our story, we would like to take a break and give a little shout out to our friends and vendor over at SoFly. SoFly! So we're going to show you a little video. So here we go. Hey guys, I wanted to come to you today about SoFly. SoFly is a family-owned business here in the Houston, Texas area, and they specialize in embroidery and engraving. So what they'll do is take your favorite accessories, such as a cap, a hoodie, a purse, a jacket, and they will specialize it to your needs. They have an array of different colors, and if you want your logo or your name or maybe even your initials, they'll put that on there for you. Also, they do engraving on things such as leather patches and also on carving boards. They do our merchandise. We know that you'll be happy, so try them at least once. But just to give you some idea of how badass they are, we're going to show you a video. So here we go. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Go and try them out, and we're going to link their information in the description box below. So let's continue with the story.
In interviews, even her mother, Ida, defended the marriage, saying, well, Charlie's a good worker. He'll take care of her. She wanted to marry him, and I said yes. If she's old enough to marry, she's old enough to live with him.
That is crazy to me, though. She's 9. I mean, even back in those days, things were harder, but a 9-year-old girl, her mind is still not developed. She's still a child. So even if what if she says, Mom, I want to go jump off the bridge and kill myself in the lake? Is her mom going to let her do that? I mean, there's just certain things that children, and there's laws put in place for this, they cannot make grown-up decisions.
Exactly. Well, and you have to think, okay, he's a good worker, but she can't find a good worker at 20
or even
18. You know,
yeah.
If he wants her that bad, he can wait.
Absolutely.
But at this point, he doesn't want an 18-year-old girl.
No.
He wants a little girl.
Right.
And it's disgusting. It bothers me so much. I mean, everything going on in this world, I mean, it's been going on forever.
Yeah, and now it's front and center for everybody to see. I think that Tiffany felt it important to bring this story because this didn't just start with Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
This started long before he was even thought of. These things have been going on for a long time. That's why there are some laws in place. There's too many loopholes. But this is the beginning of our knowledge of this that's been going on for 100 years, basically.
And sometimes people do say, well, where are the parents? Well, in this case, the parents were okay with this.
Maybe they were so poor they couldn't afford her. But,
yeah.
I mean, aren't there other ways to
find there's got to be another parent that would take care of her,
exactly.
not a grown man.
That's crazy.
Well, Ida had been married at the age of 16, and her sister married at 13. So it sounds like this was kind of a normal thing, but they keep getting
Yeah.
younger and younger.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, even 13. I have an almost 13-year-old. She is not getting married. I don't even want anyone looking at her. I notice boys looking at her. I better not notice a grown man looking at her.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's scary.
But behind that calm defiance, the world was boiling with disgust.
Of
With
course.
good reason.
Mhm.
Politicians, women's groups, and clergy called for reform. Even Eleanor Roosevelt commented, calling the story a disturbing reflection of our laws.
Absolutely. And of course, she was huge on women rights.
Yes.
So you know that she had to be appalled at this story.
And you can't say,
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear someone say, well, she had her, she wanted to be married. A 9-year-old looking at getting married doesn't look at what marriage is. She's looking at her parents being married like, oh, that's sweet. She doesn't know what goes into a marriage.
Well,
She's 9. She's a baby.
Yeah, you're playing house
You're playing
at
house.
9 years old.
Like marrying the kid down the street,
It's
out
different.
playing in the dirt one day.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
And he's a grown man.
No,
Ah.
his body might have been, but obviously his mind was sick. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yet, despite the outrage, the marriage was legal. Under Tennessee law at the time, there was no minimum age for marriage and with parental consent. What?
That is crazy.
It wasn't just a loophole. It was a window into an older world that still existed hidden in the hills. What? The pressure became impossible to ignore. By the end of 1937, Tennessee lawmakers passed new legislation, setting 16 as the minimum marriage age for girls and 18 for boys.
Okay. So the girls still got a raw deal because you can be 16, but the boys have to be 18.
And these people are like, well,
Yeah.
girls mature faster than boys. It doesn't matter. They're still 16.
And maybe it couldn't be because of work laws, because I don't even think they had work laws back then. Now that I'm thinking about it, none of this makes sense to me.
None of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of it. And the child bride case was, as it was called, became a turning point. It forced America to confront uncomfortable questions about parental power, child protection, and morality in rural America. Yeah, because it's a problem.
We're still battling it today.
True.
But I'm glad they pushed it to the forefront. I'm glad that there were people that were actually appalled
And
that
angry enough to make something happen.
Yeah,
right?
to change the laws,
Which is
at
what it
least
takes.
to at least to have an age. A 16 is still not a
16's
it's
not
appropriate,
but it's better than
than
not
9
having
or not
one.
having one at all.
I mean, because you're looking at if there's not one at all, what happens if her?
What if she's
her
5?
sister's 6?
Yes.
Well, she wants to be married. Well, yeah, every little girl wants to be married one day. That doesn't mean
Right.
she wants a grown man to take her home right now.
No, and this is the thing. We all know to consummate the marriage. I mean, she's 9. That is
so
such
angry.
a violation. Such a violation to that little girl. Her parents should be ashamed of themselves, really. I mean, didn't her mother think about that? At least her mother. Her mom and dad both, but her mother,
Yeah.
I mean, that's brutal. It really is.
It was the beginning of a long, slow fight to protect children from early marriage, one that still continues today.
Mm-hmm.
As the reporters left and the headlines faded, Charlie and Eunice went back to quiet country life. Eunice attended school for 2 days, but Charlie pulled her out after she was switched for misbehaving. Well, she's misbehaving because of her life at home.
Well, probably because of what just happened to her.
Exactly.
She probably had no idea
Her home life.
what was going to happen the night after she married Charlie.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure no one talked to her about it, and all of a sudden, a child is put into a grown adult woman situation, and she had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to mess her head up.
Absolutely. State law was changed to reflect that married children were exempt from mandatory education.
Okay.
As of 1938, the couple lived with Charlie's parents and slept in the same room.
Okay. I'm going to say this because I have 2 sons. If my grown son wanted to marry a 9-year-old daughter, first of all, they would hear it from me. Second of
Oh,
all, you
dear
dang
God.
sure ain't living in my house under those situations. I don't care if the child's parents okay with it or not. Like, what is going on in these parents' minds? I
And
mean,
aren't you going to question your son that wants to marry a 9-year-old? Like, oh, she was so beautiful, I just had to marry her. She's a little girl.
and this is the thing. It was so okay that no one questioned anything outside of rural Tennessee. Right? Right in that community and probably surrounding areas, it was okay. So these people are just fine. They're just living their life, right?
Yeah.
It's sad that the world had to come in and say, look, this isn't normal. You can't marry a child. And you would think that when they passed the law for 16, I would have hoped that they would have annulled that marriage automatically in the state. I would have said if they got married before 16, all marriages are annulled in the state of Tennessee. But it doesn't, I don't know, but it doesn't sound like that happened here.
No, because they stayed married. December 1942, at the age of 15, Eunice gave birth to the couple's first child. They later had 8 more children. Charlie objected when his oldest child, 17-year-old Evelyn, eloped in 1960 to a man named John. He alleged that John had falsified Evelyn's age to obtain a marriage license. Well, good old Charlie is a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
He married a little girl that brought her doll.
Yeah, and it's called karma. Okay? It'll come back around to you.
But your
mister.
17-year-old, I'm sorry.
Yes, 17.
She's above the legal age to get married at this point.
I bet
He has a problem with that.
I bet she didn't bring her doll along with her to get married at 17.
Yeah. See, when a child, I'm sorry, child, we have to even say that,
Yeah.
makes me sick enough.
Yeah.
She brought her baby doll to get married with her.
Yeah.
Then
Mhm.
all of them need to be checked for mental health issues.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Charlie and Eunice remained married until Charlie's death in 1997, and Eunice died in 2006.
Wow.
The marriage of Charlie Johns and Eunice Winstead shocked America into change. Eunice never publicly condemned her husband. To her, it wasn't a scandal. It was simply the way life was. So sad.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes her story so haunting, because sometimes the people living in the tragedy don't even know it is one.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
The story of Charlie and Eunice is not one of romance. It's a story of a world that failed to protect a child, a story that forced a nation to grow up. Even now, child marriage remains legal in parts of the U.S. under certain conditions. It shouldn't even be under certain conditions.
No.
Eunice's story reminds us how easily innocence can be signed away with one parent's signature and a preacher's pen.
Absolutely. That is very true in this case.
Every case leaves behind echoes, questions, pain, and lessons. We tell these stories not just to remember, but to understand and to get better, hopefully,
Oh, yeah.
and grow.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, that this was probably not just a Tennessee issue. This was a world issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and again, we're still battling some of these things today. It's appalling to us because we know better.
Yes.
Obviously, to the parents of Charlie and Eunice, this is a non-issue. The sad part is because of previous things that's happened in their families, it was happening. So it just became normalized to them. And that's the sad part.
Well, and that's the thing is I've thought about that. Like, okay, it was a different time. Of course, everyone says it. It's different times. But when I look at a 9-year-old,
Yes.
you're not thinking they're old enough to do what anything that happens in marriage, right? None of it.
No.
Absolutely not any percentage of it.
Mm-mm. No, it's
So
traumatic.
I look at my 9-year-old and I'm like, absolutely not. There's no way.
No, they're still babies.
They
at
are.
heart.
Their bodies are babies. Their minds are babies. They are babies.
Mhm.
And again, she brought her baby doll.
I know.
And
it makes me think because Eunice, it says that Eunice was okay with it and she just thought it was normal. But obviously she had been groomed to believe that.
mm-hmm.
I don't think Charlie just swooped in and, oh, hey, let's get married. Trust me, there were probably a year or so, I don't know how long they knew each other, that he groomed her to depend on him emotionally. And as a child, she's going to, favor that and care about him
course. She's
like
a
a little
child.
girl, right?
Exactly.
He probably promised he'd protect her and take care of her. So he's grooming her through all of this, and her parents are okay with it. And when you're a child, if your parents are okay with it, then it can't be wrong, and that's so sad to me.
But she didn't know what was going to happen once she was in that situation.
No. Now, I'm assuming that their marriage was somewhat decent. He never, was abusive to her or anything, or was there anything?
There was nothing.
Nothing about that. Yeah. And I'm just curious. I mean, maybe he was good to her. I would hope so.
You have to think she probably wouldn't have said it.
Oh, probably not.
It would have never come out.
Probably not. Probably her children would know.
Yeah.
But it just makes you wonder how that marriage continued. Was it somewhat healthy? I mean, I hate to even say that. That sounds so wrong. But, healthy to where she didn't suffer anymore due to the circumstances. I would hope it was at least a good marriage. He was good to her.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess no one will ever know, really. So, yeah, it's appalling.
It broke
really
my
is.
heart when I read the story. It really did. And having a 9-year-old at home, you just kind of look at them like, oh, no.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm telling you, Stephanie would have to write my story.
Right?
And bring it to you if someone touched my 9-year-old.
Yeah. Again, I understand times are different, this, that, and the other, but it was obviously normalized in that part of the world. And the sad part is someone had to come in there and tell him it was wrong.
I know.
I don't know.
For the girls that were saved from that, that's good. It's sad that it took this story and this little girl to break that story,
Yeah.
for them to come in and change those laws.
Right.
Because not having an minimum age at all.
That's another thing that's appalling to me. Like, no age. Like, what if she's 3 or 4? I don't know. Is there stories that there were 3 and 4-year-olds that got married? I mean, or 5 or 6. This story kind of took me off guard because I never knew that there was not an age restriction at any point in America with parents' consent to marry their children.
And this one just happened. It's not because it's Tennessee. It just happened in Tennessee. But that happened in so many other places, and they just didn't know about it.
Oh, yeah. This is not the only story. There's more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the scary part. But again, we know better, and you have to know better to do better. And I'm praying for our nation that with all this stuff coming forward right now, with the child abuse and things that's been happening, that we continue to get better. But in order to get better, we have to start acknowledging what's going on around us in order to make the change.
The children need protection.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. So, yeah.
Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it, right?
Right.
There are too many predators.
Yeah. We got to start yelling from the rooftops. Absolutely. We need to create boundaries for our children. We need to teach our children boundaries,
Yes.
and we need to carry those boundaries forth as well.
Absolutely.
So what do you guys think? Are you glad that they put an age restriction on marriage? I know I am. Are you appalled? Are you shocked? Because I had never heard this story before until my sister kind of gave me an idea. This is the first time I've heard the whole story, but she kind of gave me a little scoop prior to. And I was appalled at that. Because I know our family, some of them got married at 13, 14, and 15. We're from the Deep South. I got married at 15 with parents' consent, and I was pregnant with my oldest son. So I know these things happen. But 9 years old, that threw me off in so many different ways. Look, 15 was young for me.
Exactly. And that's
It
what I
was
was
very
thinking.
young for me, but-
At least you knew what you were, a little bit of what you were going into.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Whereas my 9-year-old doesn't know what happens behind closed doors, So, and I don't want her to know yet.
No.
I know they start asking, but we don't go into detail with that. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So, it just makes me sick to my stomach because she was so innocent, and then that door closed.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the door closed. He's living with his parents.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And again, his parents, it was normalized. Who knows how old his
Yeah,
mother was when they got
exactly.
married? So you got to think about that. But hopefully the legacy from there on, and they stayed married. So obviously something was working for them, but their legacy got better from there. I'm praying for their children
Yeah,
and their
I hope everything was
grandchildren.
great for their
Yeah.
children. You know, they had 8 children,
Yeah.
which that's amazing.
Yes. Well, we just need, again, to, if you know better, do better. And in today's society, that would absolutely not even be okay, which means we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, though,
Oh,
for sure,
100%.
with
Yeah.
our children and protecting them
Yeah.
from predators. But yeah. All right, y'all. So that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening. And if you can, please share this story. We'll keep showing up, and we hope you do too. Until next time, please remember to see the good and stay imperfectly perfect. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
God bless.